One of the biggest mistakes that I see when it comes to manifestation is you not being aware of how you truly think and how you truly feel, right? So, for example, so this is you, right? And the red circle represents how you truly feel. So, the red circle is how you truly feel throughout your day. So, this red circle can be considered as your daily thoughts, your daily emotions, and how you react to the world and how what you expect from the world, right? So this red circle is your daily thoughts, emotions, your activity and your expectations. And outside yourself, outside your field, you inject thoughts, right? So these blue arrows are techniques or practices that you do in order to manifest your dream reality. This can be affirmations, this can be visualization, this can be scripting, this can be the 555 method, it can be anything, right? So the reason you do this, the reason you do a technique is because you want to change the way you think, you want to change the emotions that you're emitting every day. Because once you can control your state, you can control how you create your life, right? But most of the time, what people do is they use these techniques and practices, right? They use these techniques and practices not as a way to access higher states. They don't use like this. What they tend to do is it is their coping mechanism. For example, let's say you had a really bad day, right? You had a really bad day. Throughout the day, you had negative thoughts, negative emotions. You were not yourself, right? And what you tend to do is, what many people tend to do is, they use a technique. For example, they visualize their desired reality in order to compensate for what they did throughout the day, right? They don't think that it doesn't matter, right? What you thought totally doesn't matter. What you imagine, what the life you live in an imagination is your true self, it is your true reality. They don't think like that. What they tend to do is they treat the practice that they do as a coping mechanism, right? And the reason they do this is because they are not aware of their true thoughts, emotions, reactions, and expectations, right? They tend to avoid how they truly are, right? And these techniques, these practices, these rituals that they do for to manifest their dream reality is nothing but a coping mechanism in order to avoid of how they truly feel, right? When I ask these people to not do any technique for a week and just observe their thoughts, just be aware of how they react to the external world, they can't do it because they think them not doing any techniques, them not doing any practices will not lead them to desired reality, right? And it causes more worry, it causes more stress because they think they're not in control of their life, right? They think without any techniques, without any practices, they can't manifest their dream reality. They are totally dependent on these techniques to have stable emotions, to feel those positive emotions, positive states like joy, bliss, happiness. They can't feel those emotions until or unless they do a technique, they do a practice. They are dependent, they are solely dependent on these techniques to create their dream reality. But we have already talked about this in my other videos that techniques do not create your reality, you do. You are the one who creates your reality, not the techniques, right? So, what can you do? Because if you are a person who tends to avoid how you truly feel, how you truly are being, when it not comes to manifestation techniques, that is the true dominant frequency, right? Let me clear it for you. So there are 24 hours in a day, and let's assume you sleep for 8 hours a day. For the next 16 hours, I think, yeah, for the next 16 hours, you do a technique or you do a meditation practice, you do a visualization practice for like 5 or 10 minutes or 15 minutes or even an hour. But for the rest of the day, you dwell in worry, you dwell in lack, and you're not even aware of it. You dwell in negativity throughout the day. And just by you doing a 15-minute meditation or 15-minute visualization practice, it's not going to lead you to desired reality because the universe only cares about your dominant vibration. right? And if your dominant vibration throughout your day is worry, lack, stress, of course the universe is going to give you more worry, more lack, more stress, because the universe wants your state to be multiplied. It wants your state to be sustained, right? So here's how you can fix it. So what we're going to do is, we are not going to do any techniques, any manifestation practice for 7 days, right? Treat this process as step 0 of manifestation. Because many people come to me and ask me that I'm doing everything correctly, like I do my visualization correctly, I add in more details, I use my sense organs, like I vividly imagine my dream reality, and I do all the practices, like I am detached and blah 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 blah, but still I can't see any physical changes in my physical reality, right? So you are creating your reality. The circumstances you are in right now, the situations you go through every day, those were created by you, right? And those were created by you, like not the current version of yourself, but the past version of yourself. So your previous frequency, your past frequency has what manifested as your current reality. So for you to consciously create your future, you need to take control of the present moment, right? So in order for you to truly like understand and realize what you're emitting throughout the day, you should not do any technique. You should just be aware of your thoughts, emotions, how you react to the external world, and what you expect out of life, right? So for 7 days, you do no techniques, no practices, and you just be aware. Aware of what? Aware of your thoughts, aware of your emotions, aware of how you react to the world. Because only when you know your true self, only when you know, only when you come to understand how you are being, irrespective of any manifestation technique, you will come to know how you are creating your reality, what dominant vibration you're emitting, right? You can't avoid what you're truly feeling, right? Don't use techniques as a coping mechanism, because the techniques do not create your reality. And once you become aware of how you truly feel, how you truly think, and then you can consciously start to change. Because after you realize what you're emitting throughout the day, you like it's not a mystery anymore, right? Because all this time, like if you do this experiment, you will come to realize that all this time you have been thinking negatively, you have been reacting to the world negatively. That is one case. But on the other hand, you might come to the conclusion, you might realize that your thoughts are positive in general, your emotions are positive in general, and you're doing everything right, right? So in order for you to know whether you're doing something right or wrong, you need to do this experiment to know how your general thinking is, what general emotions are you emitting every day, and how you're reacting to the external world. If you are in general without any techniques, for example, an unexpected bill comes up or something like unexpected happens, and you don't react to the world, you don't react to the incident, you just respond in a calm way, then you will come to know that you are in the right frequency, you are being a higher version of yourself, and you are doing everything right, right? So in order for you to know whether you're doing something right or wrong, or and for you to know how you're creating your reality and what dominant vibration is emitting the universe, this 7-day experiment will change your life, because it will let you know who you are in the truest sense, right? So for the next 7 days, I don't want to do any techniques, no practices, and just be aware. But here's a problem that some people might face, and let me cover it right now, right? So when doing the step 0 of manifestation, some people might feel the need to do the techniques. You might feel doubtful that if I don't do any techniques, I might not manifest my dream reality. So by doing this 7-day experiment, by doing the step 0 of manifestation, you will also come to realize and also become aware of your beliefs, right? So throughout this 7-day process, if you feel the need that, oh my god, I need to do something, like you need to do something in order to manifest your dream reality, that is a belief that you have, that is a skewed belief that you have, that is a limiting belief that you have, and you have to change it, right? Because you are the instrument, you are the technique. Without doing any like affirmations, visualizations, you can still manifest, right? You can simply decide, okay, like if, for example, let's say you want to make $20,000 a month, you decide that you are making $20,000 a month and act from that perspective, act from that frequency. And that's all it takes. But most people can't do it. Most people can't have the faith that it is already done. And that is why they use techniques in order to keep reliving their dream reality in their mind. And that leads to them manifesting it in physical reality. But you don't need that. You can simply decide and trust and have faith that it has become true and live your life, right? You are the technique, you are the instrument, you don't need any external instruments, right? So to come to, so do you realize how powerful this 7-day experiment is, right? It is incredibly powerful if you do this. But like if you are going to do this, I want your full commitment. I want you for the next 7 days. Do not do any technique and just live your life. Just do your chores, just do whatever you do every day and live your physical reality. And just be totally, utterly aware of how you're thinking, what emotions you're emitting throughout your day, right? For example, you might become aware that you're not necessarily dwelling in negativity, but you're also not necessarily dwelling in positivity, and you're just neutral. And that is also still a very good place to be in, because now that you know you can be neutral, you don't necessarily attract any negative experiences in your life. You just need to consciously adapt a mindset to think positively and feel positively. Be aware of your dream reality. Be aware that it is already present inside you, and have that gratefulness, right? So being neutral is also not a bad thing. It is a very good thing actually. But you will only know whether you are dwelling in negativity or dwelling in positivity or just staying neutral. You will only know that if you do the 7-day experiment, right? This step comes before all other steps in manifestation, because you are not your body, you are not your thoughts, you are just pure awareness. That is your truest self. You are pure awareness. For example, if you're angry, or if you, whatever emotion you feel, like, let me give you an example. So let's say you are emitting anger, right? So whenever you're emitting any emotion, so for example, for the sake of simplicity, let's take anger, right? So you are emitting anger, but you also have the awareness that you are angry, right? You are not your emotion, you are the awareness behind that anger, right? For example, whenever you are in rage, or whenever you're angry, or whenever you're sad, sometimes like you will know that you can take a step back and you will know that you are sad, you are angry, right? That is you, that is the truest version of yourself, that is you awareness, right? You're not your anger, you're not your fleeting thoughts, right? You're not your beliefs, you're not your mask that you wear every day. You are pure awareness, and that is what we are going to use in the 7-day experiment, right? You become aware of who you are being every day, and only when you become aware of who you are being every day, when it not comes to techniques, like you're not going to do any, like, if for example, let's take affirmations. You're not going to affirm for like throughout the day, right? That would be psychotic. That is not the ideal case. Like you affirming like I am rich, I am rich, I am rich throughout the day, that is mental. You don't need to do that. Like even if you do just 15 minutes of affirmations a day, what matters is not only that affirmations, but how you react and how you are being for the rest of the day, right? And once you become aware of how you are being for the rest of the day, you will come to know what you're creating in your physical reality. Whatever thoughts you consciously focus on, whatever emotions you emit, those are like seeds that you plant for your future, right? And if you keep watering that seed by putting in more worry or more stress or more anger, that seed will grow and it will be reflected in your physical reality. But if that seed is gratefulness, for example, if that seed is gratefulness, and you come to know that you are generally grateful for the things in life, every day you are emitting gratefulness, right? Like whenever you are in your house, or whenever you go for your job, or whenever you land a new client, you naturally are grateful, right? So when you are aware that you are naturally grateful, you don't need to worry about it, because If you're grateful, if you're emitting gratefulness every day, if you're emitting gratitude every day, then that is what will be reflected back to you. You will find more things to be grateful about, and that will naturally lead you to your like manifesting your desired reality. And you'll be grateful that you have manifested your desired reality thanks to the universe, right? So I hope you realize how powerful this step is, and I want you to stay committed for the whole 7 days. Don't do any techniques, but be purely aware and do it for 7 days, and let me know down in the comment section what you experienced, what you felt, and did you realize who you are being in your truest form without any techniques, without any external influences, right? So yeah, that's it from me. I just wanted to shoot this quick video to let you know that awareness is more powerful than any other technique, right? So if you want to work with me personally, then check out the link in the description, where I get to talk to you, I get to know your problems, and you can share what you've been struggling with, and hopefully I can help you solve it. And not hopefully, I know I will solve it and lead you to your desired reality. So check out the link in the description, and I will see you in another video.